Let's go
Okay,
on.
folks, this is our third collaboration. You can see I'm here with Erin and with Duane. Erin's show is Erin Talks Money, and Duane is Retire on 500K. So I think we represent three different facets of retirement, and we're all a little bit different. Erin is, she's an expert and great content she's been putting out, but she's not retired yet. Duane is retiring on a modest amount of money, retiring 500K, and I'm in a little different situation. So I think this is exciting. Our last video's got 70,000 views. I'm very happy with that. So, hey, today I wanted to facilitate a discussion on the comments. And there's gold in the comments. I'm sure you both can resonate with that. Just
Yeah.
absolute gold in there. And they've affected the content that I've made, and they've affected my retirement. So, first thing I want to just say, thanks for you that take time to write the comments.
Yes.
But one of the things that we're, as a creator, you're able to see comments a little bit differently than just the casual viewer. And we start to see patterns, and we get the same comments over and over again. And so I want to just dive into that a little bit. I think it's going to be fun. So today, I'm going to, like I said, host those questions, and then I'll call on one of you guys and try to answer it and see if to your best of your ability. So first one's kind of an easy one to get us rolling here. Is what is a favorite comment or a favorite story that you got from the comments from your viewers? And Erin, I'll start with you.
I would say the most meaningful ones for me, the ones that hit the hardest, is if somebody reads or watches one of my videos and then they say, because of this or because of the plethora of videos I watched from you, I now feel confident to retire. Because then I'm like, I actually had a piece in this person, like making this huge life decision. And to
Yep.
go into that with confidence, like that to me, that's all I wanna do. I just want people to be informed so they
Yeah.
feel confident to live the next 20, 30, 40 years of their life. So if somebody said that I helped them in any way make that decision, that hits deep. I sleep well that night.
Yeah, outstanding. I've people that give me comments or people that I see in the community that come up to me and talk to me. I say thank you for that feedback in the comment because without the feedback, I'm just a guy alone talking in a room.
Yeah.
Which makes us feel a little crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I just totally crazy as anybody listening? Hey, Wayne, how about you?
Well, I've got a kind of an opposite of that. I do get the comments like Erin said, and those feel so good as a creator. You're like, wow, this is actually doing something. Even I've had some videos, as I'm sure you guys have, that just did nothing. Maybe, I don't know, 7,000 views, but all it takes is that one comment in those videos that makes it all worthwhile. But I want to flip that like a 180 because I have actually had a couple people say, thank you so much for putting out your information. You have actually convinced me that I need to work a couple more years.
Yeah.
And that's great, because just, all the different kinds of information that we all put out here on our channels, it doesn't mean, oh, you have to retire now or you're insane. If we can just give like a bias, not a bias, but a non-biased point of view on all the different things, if you look at that and say, I need a couple more years on this, that's great. So I think those to me were the kind of surprising at
Yeah.
first, but also just as meaningful as the ones that say, you helped me to retire.
Yes. No, it's just that you help give clarity to the situation because in seeing someone else do it or seeing situations, I think the viewer then has the opportunity to look back on their life and say, okay, where do I stand?
Yes. Yeah, it gives them some perspective. I also got I have to tell you, as an older man, as a 63-year-old man, I have a younger woman on my comments calling me the high desert stud muffin. I'm not
I'm sorry,
making it up.
Dwayne, that was me. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I was going to say that was me, Dwayne, but
well, Joe, I mean, come on. We just met a couple weeks ago in person. That's a little
yeah,
sudden.
yeah. Hey, for
That is
me,
the best.
it's very similar to your comment, Aaron, is, you know, I once counted these, but it's 10 to 15 comments a day that I would get saying, "Hey, I was planning on retiring in 5 minutes, and because of your content and others, I decided to deep dive into it. I followed your process and your logic, and I could retire 2 years earlier, 3 years earlier. I announced I'm retiring last Monday.
Yeah.
And those are so moving. And, when you're making videos and you're not sure you're making impact, do I want to keep doing this? Those videos where people are having real impact. And I
Yep.
think it's just sharing our story. Hey, it's normal to be a little afraid of this. It's normal to want to work one more year. It's normal to have confidence to spend issues or worry about taxes, all that kind of stuff. I think just sharing our journey is impacting people. I love those comments, keep me going.
Doesn't it feel good, like, when they
Yes.
say, "Hey, I'm retiring 2 years earlier because of this," like, you feel like you just got 2 extra years of your life, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the impact
Yeah.
on family,
Yes,
the whole
yes.
family. It's really cool. So
And also, just
I
as
like that.
creators, I mean, just as creators, how we have days that we don't want to make videos, right? So all it takes for me is to like, I have a little list of comments that mean a lot to me, that mean why I am doing this channel. So if I get in those days, I'm like, this is what I'm doing it for.
Yeah.
It just builds everything up and you're like, all right, let's go.
I
So
screenshot them on my phone when I get those
I
good
do
ones, and
too.
then that way when I'm scrolling later, I'm like,
Yeah,
"Oh, that felt so good."
I do too. It
We
keeps you
we are
going.
starving for feedback, folks. We're starving for it.
Yes, everyone leave a comment.
Yeah.
All right. So, hey, next question. Have you changed anything about your retirement plan because of the comments from a viewer comment? Dwayne, what are you thinking?
I have actually, because I am not a big proponent of precious metals, gold, silver, stuff like that. I never have been. But I have so many people, and it's not the same comment all the time, telling me, look into this. Because a lot of people think that gold is very stable, stable, stable. Well, not all the time. It's just like any other kind of investment. You look in certain time periods, gold is like this. Okay. So it's not the end all be all. But because of those comments, I've looked into that, and I may use that as kind of like a alternative investment just to become
Yeah.
even more diversified. Because
Mhm.
you can really never be too diversified. Obviously, you don't want to have 80% of your stuff in company stock, right?
Yeah.
So I'm actually looking now toward precious metals because of some of the comments I've got.
Yeah, that's outstanding. I think, laying your plan out there for everybody to see, this is what I'm doing, here's where my money's at. You get a lot of feedback. You get a lot of feedback on, hey, you ought to think about this, think about that. And it's really helped. Aaron, what's your thinking?
I'm gonna say this is 6 years in the making because I've had YouTube for 6 years. So I've done retirement research since getting my CFP, which has been longer than that, but um really solidly for 6 years as I'm reading all these papers and then kind of turning them into videos. So part of it is just that my research has become so deep over the past 6 years, and I would say it's even deepened quite a bit in the past 2 years. So when I originally thought about retirement, I always approached it from the most conservative standpoint ever. 4% rule, something like that. And I
Yeah.
always wanted to really early retire. I'd retire in my 40s or my 50s. And through the comments that are always asking me to explore a new topic, which leads me down another research hole, I would say just broadly, my entire perspective on retirement has shifted where I used to be so anxious. I'm like, oh, you've got to get to 1 million. You've got to get to 4 million. You got to get to 8 million. It was always just this like number that kept increasing. But with all the comments, with all the research, I'm now like, man, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
number, that lofty number that I always thought I needed, like, I don't even live a life that would need that. It's like once you have a paid off home, my property taxes are $1,000 a month. It's not nothing, but I don't need $300,000 to live my life. So the
Right.
number I need to retire on is probably a third of what it was or a fourth of what I thought it would be just from all the research I've done. And the commenters are a huge part of that because they're always asking questions that always leads me down a different research path.
Yeah.
Well, but Aaron,
Fantastic.
you're only 23, so you're going to be retiring at 38.
38. 38.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm proud of those 38 years.
All right.
Yeah, for me, two things, and I'll try to be quick. One of them is I opened up a Fidelity account because of a viewer comment. I was in my bucket one money, my safe money. I had money in some CDs here, some bonds over here, and a high
Yeah.
yield savings account. And they said, why don't you just put it all in a Fidelity account? It's easy to transfer money. And, that was great. That was fantastic. Another thing, and very tangible and recent for me, somebody said, why don't you spend some of the inheritance your kids would receive? Why don't you spend that on them now? So
Mm.
we started a
Yes.
year ago. We gave each one of our kids all expensive paid vacation on mom and dad. We did that individually last year. This year, everybody, we just came back from Destin, Florida. We paid for everything. And that's, creates great memories, great bonding. And, it's taken away from their inheritance in the future, but create more memories now. I'm not sure I would be doing that without a viewer comment.
When my
Yeah.
grandpa passed away, the funeral home director told us that exact same thing. He's like, I have seen so much about death and so many people waiting and they never get the chance to live the way they want. He's like, I'm just giving to my kids now. And I thought that was the best perspective ever. And that's really like a stance we've taken in our family. And it was all because
Yeah.
of talking to the funeral home director
Yeah.
that when my grandpa passed.
Yeah. I don't think I was
I'm glad you
mentally.
guys brought that
Go
up
ahead, Dwayne.
because, sorry, I just want, because you just jogged something, and just something that just recently happened to me. Within the last year, I visited my dad, who is 88, and I'm going to be the executor of his will. And he has pretty much everything battened down except for the inheritance. Now, it's not going to be a huge amount of money, but when I was sitting with him and my aunt and the whole family there, I was like you guys are saying, Dad, why don't you just give out what you're going to give now? Wouldn't that give you a lot of satisfaction? Just to see that, this is all done and we can do whatever we want with it. Number one, it'll give you peace of mind. Number two, it'll give you satisfaction because
Yeah.
there you go.
It's hard to think about that. I can't imagine making this decision to, spend more money now on my kids' inheritance before I retired. It was like,
Mhm.
I got to make sure I got enough. What do you mean
Yeah.
spend it now? But, with a few years under my belt and,
Mhm.
it's like, hey, now's the right time for me to hear that
Yeah.
message. So cool. Okay. Hey, let's get a little sharper stick. Okay. And
Oh,
think about something a little more challenging here is what do viewers, based on the comments, can get wrong about retirement? Some of the comments that you kind of want to like, oh my gosh, I'm not getting through to these people. Uh, that what is,
I have answers.
there you go. Hey, Erin's excited. Let's go with you.
go,
I've got a
go.
list. I've got a list. One, starting. Um, I get so much pushback on the idea that spending might decline in retirement.
Mm,
Like saying that at 60 you're likely to spend more than you would at 70 or 80. Now, of course, our outlier is long-term healthcare, but if I say spending might decline in retirement, the pushback is enormous. Um, I also think saying that you can take anything higher than 4% rule is triggering. I mean,
Yep.
you need a support group for some of the comments that come out because they're like, "Do you not know the rule? You can't take 5%. That's not allowed." Um, and then the other comment, which I know everyone in finance has seen it. What about inflation? You didn't factor in inflation. I did. I
Yes.
reduced the rate of return, and that's how I factored in inflation to maintain real purchasing power. So I'm not giving us a 10% rate of return. I'm reducing it to 7.
yeah,
Inflation. It's in there.
yeah,
Yes. What about inflation? It's in there.
Yeah.
yeah,
Because I think with the idea of inflation, so many people think like, oh, $1 million is nothing today. Now you go forward 20 years, $1 million is going to be like, it's going to be like $100,000. So I'm like, well, not really. I'm like, let's run the
Yeah.
numbers, see what it looks
Right.
like. So I would
Right.
say inflation is something that is often misunderstood.
yeah. It's also a challenge, Erin, when you're trying to get that whole message out in a 12-minute video.
Yes.
People will say, you didn't factor in these 18 other things. You
Yes.
got 12 minutes. You know, if I make a
Hey, we're
40,
only focusing on one thing in this video. Happy to do another video on that item.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It is, we have to, our examples, at least my examples, I tend to make them simpler, just
Yeah.
round numbers so people get the concept.
Yeah, because
But
we're isolating for one thing we're looking at.
yeah, the 4% rule is tough to break. That's more of a religious calling, I think, for some folks. So,
Hey, I
Dwayne, how
go to the
about you?
church. I go to the church of the 4% rule. What are you talking about?
What?
You know,
Hey,
mine,
Dwayne, in the
mine,
comments, what do you got?
yeah, mine, I get so many comments about, oh, and I get it. I really understand this, but I get so many of them. It's like, you're not retired, you're still working.
Mm,
You know, my whole thing has been, as long as you retire from a full-time job, okay, if that's a full-time job and you have retired, it is your retirement. Do whatever you want. I don't care what your family says. I don't care what your friends say. I don't care what the media says, whatever. I would hope that you would be comfortable enough in your skin now to just, it's my retirement. If I want to start a YouTube channel, if I want to like bake cookies 15 hours a week and sell them, whatever. Retirement, it's the new retirement now. It really
mhm.
is. It's not
Yeah.
your father's, it's not your grandfather's, where the majority of people had pensions, right? Totally different. They might retire at 65, and the longevity also, they could be gone at 75. Now we're looking more like early 80s, mid 80s, right? So if you think that people just want to, now if you retire at 77 after a long, hard job and you want to sit around and watch TV all day, good for you. That's great. But if you retire at 56, are you going to be content sitting around for the next 25 years watching reruns of the Brady Bunch? No.
It's a
It's
great
your
show, by
retirement.
the way. A great show.
Yeah. Well, actually, one of my friends is married to Jan Brady.
What?
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's
he's a
so
good
cool.
he is a good friend of mine. We've known each other for 25 years, and she is awesome. She's just
I
a great
wanted to be part of a big family because of the Brady Bunch growing up.
wasn't it a great show? It's still a
Yeah,
great show, you
it
Yeah,
know?
is.
very good.
I have
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
many questions for Jan, so we'll have to try and make that
Hey,
happen.
give it to me. Just email me and I'll send it to her husband. See what we got.
One comment for me that I'm having trouble getting through to people is, hey, I've managed my saving for retirement. I've managed getting enough money that it's really easy to translate that into retirement finances. And boy, when you're working, taxes happen to you. They just come out of your W-2. If you have a business, it's pretty standard. In retirement, man, it's so much. Where's your money located? Where are you going to pull money out of?
Yeah.
Uh,
It's like,
there's a
how do you
lot.
control your income?
There's a lot going on, and people say you're making this too hard. And I think that what confuses people is, there's a lot of people. Some
Mhm.
people that list viewers, they have a social security check and they have a pension. And that covers all their expenses, and they're going, "Hey, this is easy. Why are you making this so hard?" And then there's other people, they're saying, "I don't have those things.
Any of
I'm
those
retiring early, and this is I need to thread the needle to be able to retire at 60 years old."
things?
And there's just a lot more decisions to be made.
Right.
The other thing is, we've all talked about it on our channels, I know, is about working one more year. It's just people, think, hey, financially, things are going to be better if I work one more year. Well, that's going to work out every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
One more year till you die and you never have to touch your
work
savings.
till 100. It'll make perfect financial sense. And, that transition from needing to make money to needing to have freedom of time, that line is just really tough. I don't have a perfect answer for it. It's something I've struggled with is how do you know when you're at that line?
Yeah.
And I don't think I knew I was at it when I retired, but looking back on it, I go, man, I'm glad I retired when I did. I think it's more of a hindsight thing, but it's
Yeah.
it's a struggle to get that through to people.
Well, I think going adding to that is that if you are, I think the only time that occurs is if like you are way above what you thought
Mhm.
you would need for retirement. If you're anywhere in that mid zone, I think people are always going to struggle with that.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think, like, what's the market gonna do when I retire? And this
Yeah.
is especially if you retire early and you're just relying on the market, you need the market at some point to operate in your favor. I mean, sure, you should have your cash reserves, you should be able to cover 1, 2, maybe 3, 4, 5 years, but at some point you need your portfolio to kick in, and if it just got clobbered, of course that's going to cause anxiety. But if on the other side, you just retired into a bull run and like, oh, everything's
Yeah.
coming up aces. You're like, "Oh, I could have retired 4 years ago." But it's just
Yeah.
that's hindsight.
Hey, Dwayne, I want to expand on a comment you made because I'd like to hear, just have more discussion on that, get Erin's point on it. Working in retirement. Is
Yeah.
that a failure or the new reality? We're obviously, we're all making income with YouTube, but is that failure? I'll start a little bit just to kind of get it going here. Is that comment hits me a little bit because I made YouTube videos for 3 years with no income. Now it wasn't
Wow.
on
Okay.
fitness, it was on hairstyling. You know,
Hey,
hey,
how could you get no income, man? You should have
it wa-
had the companies just.
no, I started off on another topic. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But it was a narrow niche, and I really enjoyed it. I still get comments and views on it, but I made money for I was working the same amount of hours. I try to work under 5 a week making my videos, and people say, "Oh yeah, this is a job for you," and I'm like, I was doing the exact same thing for 3 years, and it
Mhm.
wasn't work. And I think you just got to be careful. Um, Judging people on
Yeah.
what's work because you got to do something with your time. I
Yes.
watch less TV now than I did when I was working. I've got to do something. What I loved about my job was helping people. So I'm able to help people through YouTube with ultimate flexibility. I make videos
Yeah.
whenever I want. Most of the viewers don't know this, but I didn't make videos for 4 weeks just recently. 4 weeks. I just made them in advance and released them. And, it's incredibly flexible. But doing something you love in retirement that you would really think about doing for free, I think is the new reality and actually can help people retire earlier. I wouldn't have retired at 54 if I wasn't planning on something um, exciting to do. I wouldn't have done that. I would have just say, "Hey, I'm making good money. I'm just going to keep working." But I got excited about another way of helping people, and
Yeah.
it wasn't retirement videos. I was doing some consulting, but I think getting excited about something, I think that's what this next chapter of my life is about. And if I get paid for that, great. If I don't get paid, I'm still going to do the same thing. So, Aaron,
Exactly.
what you
Yeah.
go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
Dwayne.
No,
You're
no,
already
no,
talking,
Aaron,
Dwayne.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I brought it up. Go ahead, Aaron.
Dwayne, I wanna be number 3 here.
Oh,
Go,
okay.
Dwayne.
No.
I'm number two. I'm right in the middle. Um, I am like, it's again, it's your retirement. But you know what? I just did a video probably a couple months ago, and this one stat just really hit home to me. It was either 60 or 65. There was a survey done. I think it was by I can't remember the company though. They interviewed Gen X and younger, and they said, how many of you plan on working part-time in retirement? The number was either 60 or 65%.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, it's not your father's, it's not your grandfather's retirement. And especially if the dream for me, because I had no idea I was going to do this YouTube channel when I retired. I was like, okay, all right, I'll just sit around and because I write. I mean, I write thrillers and stuff like that. I'm going to be writing all the time. And then I found this, and it's like, I enjoy it so much. So
Yeah.
if you're doing something if that would be considered a hobby, but you're getting paid for it, does that make it a job? And does that make you not retired because you're doing a hobby that you're getting paid for? No, you're doing something you really enjoy. And even if you don't enjoy it, why not bring in a little side income? It's all about peace of mind. And especially like my channel, moderate income, moderate retirement income, peace of mind money is really good. You know,
Yeah.
if you're not sitting on 6 million in the bank, it's really good.
Yeah. I also think there's people that are, you know, 6 months, year, 2, 5 years from retirement that I just want to take a nap. I I want to sit on the couch and that's all I want to do. I'm tired of this rat race, and these guys are talking about working. And
Yeah.
so the reality is, you know, after a few months, that honeymoon wears off.
Like, how
To
many
me,
naps do you want to take?
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I'm a hustler. Like, I probably
yeah.
take like 2 naps a year.
Yeah, I
Oh, I
love
do it
somebody
every
gave me
day.
the
Come on.
advice. Somebody gave me the advice of taking 6 months off and do
Mhm.
nothing. And I did that. I mean, I went on 3 vacations. I told every volunteer group, "No, I'll talk to you in November." You know, I just put everything off. I think that was great. But
Yeah.
I'm telling you, after 6 months of doing whatever you want and no schedule, you're gonna I don't want to project on others. I wanted to do something that was fulfilling, something that was meaningful, and I thoroughly enjoyed coaching and mentoring in my job. That's the piece of my job I wanted to do, and YouTube allows me to do that. Aaron?
I I started YouTube like you, and I did not get paid for the first year and a half. The first day I got monetized, I made a whopping 34 cents. It was the most
Whoa.
34 cents I ever made in my
Party.
entire life. Like, I cannot tell you, nothing mattered more to me than this year and a half accumulating into 34 cents. Like, I want to plaster that on my wall.
Yeah,
Um, so I mean, we're in it for the big bucks, guys.
that's
But
right.
I would say, I think I never want to tell anyone how to retire. I want to give people the tools to assess if they can retire. But if somebody wants to work when they retire, that's your choice. Go for it. As long as you
It,
love what you do, you're doing it for a reason, and maybe it brings you fulfillment, gives you a sense of structure. You don't want to work in retirement. Great. I think we get a little too rigid and thinking like how I want to retire has to be the way everyone else retires. And I just don't think that works. I mean, we're all so different. I feel
yeah,
very blessed that I get to do a career that I love. And I sometimes joke that I live as if I'm retired. I still work 40 hours a week. Don't worry. But I say like I have full control of my schedule. If I want to take a meeting at noon, I can do that. If I want to go jogging at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I can do that. And that to me is the biggest blessing I could ever ask for. So when I look at my life, I'm like, maybe I don't ever want to retire. Maybe I just reduce my workload. I don't know. But I
yes.
don't think it's on me to define what retirement is for anyone else.
No, I agree. I agree.
So fantastic, guys. That's the end of my questions. Any final thoughts before we wrap this up? Duane, anything you want to say?
Well, okay, I'm doing something wrong, I guess, because I got monetized in 30 days and you guys have zoomed way past me. So what am I doing wrong? Give me your secrets.
Well, kudos to you. Year and a half for me, so I have no secrets.
Well, I reached after a couple months, I started, "Oh, wait, what's going on? I thought it was all up, 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 up. No final comments, Joe. It was great as always. I love our triumvirate here that we're, getting all these different ideas going. So yeah, I think I love this whole setup.
Yeah. Aaron?
I would say thank you to all the commenters because I probably assume you guys are just like me. Like I try to read every single comment that shows up on this channel because if somebody is willing to give me 20 minutes of their life by watching my video, I want to give them the time to read the comment. And I am blown away on how thoughtful, how well researched, how prepared my audience is. They are amazing and they astound me every single day. So I'm very, very fortunate to have this wonderful group of people who takes the time to watch the video and comment. They're amazing.
The only closing comment for me is I will not send you a comment that says that's from Snapchat that says contact
Yes,
me.
send me a WhatsApp. We don't have it. No
WhatsApp. Yeah,
Telegram.
Yeah, there are a lot of bots out there,
Yes.
and a lot of
tons.
y- basically for me, if I get a comment that has 14 replies to it already and 275 likes, that's
Delete.
that's not real. and I delete that, and then I'll have hey, call Joe Kuhn, and there'll be a little bit. It's Joe Kuhn Loves Retirement with
Yeah.
a space in there, and so be careful of those folks. That's not from content creators, and we spend a lot of time trying to clean that up.
It's like whack-a-mole. You block like 4 of them
Yeah.
and 17 show up an hour later. And I do want to also say I have had monthly meetings with YouTube about this, asking them to help.
Oh,
And
oh,
repeatedly, I am told that they have no resources for this, where I think they know
oh.
that they could, but they see it as there's more activity on their platform, so they don't have an incentive to.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know because yeah, it is so annoying.
It's
I was
so
just before Aaron, before you said that, I was going to say I wish there was a way YouTube could help, but now you answered my question.
I ask every single month. I have a meeting with my YouTube person, and I ask, and she's like, "Oh, we've never heard of this before." I'm like, "Never heard of it?" And she's like,
Yeah.
I'll pass it along up the chain, and we'll see if there's something you can do. I'm like, "Okay, thanks for helping."
Yeah.
Hey, next time you have your meeting, can Joe and I just kind of hide in the
Yes.
background and get all the information?
All right. Hey, folks, let's cut it off there. We're right at 30 minutes. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I love these collaborations. And hey, this is Joe out. Bye, everyone.